Hello and welcome to another update video about Solana. The price is literally frozen, but it has already been quite a boring weekend, as I suggested already on Thursday, because there's the long holiday weekend in the US. Thursday the stock market was closed, Friday reduced hours, and oftentimes, as it traditionally is, on these weekends, the markets are typically quiet over the entire weekend. Even though the crypto market has been quite interesting also recently on weekends, this weekend was a bit of an exception again, and basically pretty much in line with most weekends in 2023, which have been incredibly boring. But that was just the nature of the bear market. Now, since it was roughly since October, early October, end of September, weekends have become quite interesting. Not necessarily across the board, but specific coins have performed quite well also on weekends. One of them, Solana. Okay, so not much happened here when we look at the microstructure, but I wanted to start here on the 4-hour chart also for new viewers, give you an understanding of where we are likely in the cycle. Yeah, that's why we like Elliott wave, because it gives us a good understanding of the overall context on the chart. Okay. So you see the price action of the December lows. And my view, my interpretation is that this is a corrective rally. It is corrective. It can turn into something more bullish, yes, but I primarily treat it as corrective for risk management purposes, because there is a risk that what we're doing here is just a B wave and it could drop down, well, either to new lows around $5. That might seem ridiculous, but it's not the first time that people thought something is ridiculous. And the analysis in the end played out. Now, I'm not predicting this, okay? Don't misunderstand me. I would not say we go down to $5. That would be indeed a bit ridiculous. But what I'm saying is the risk, the risk is definitely there. But not yet necessarily, rather after one more high. What I'd like to see is finish this current correction, and we're going to zoom in a minute, finish this current correction in this area here, and then form another high, and then there's a risk that this forms the top of a larger corrective rally. Now, forming the top of a corrective rally, which basically is an ABC structure, where the C wave has a 5-wave move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that doesn't mean we have to go to new lows. There are other options, okay? For example, and I want to show you a bullish option, which is absolutely possible. From a bullish point of view, I go to the daily chart now. From a bullish point of view, this corrective rally that started in December, if this is an ABC structure, A, B, C, surely that could be a larger B wave that leads to a C wave down, because then this would have been an A wave, A, B, C. But it is also entirely possible that it's not a B wave. In fact, the B wave will be up there, maybe even in all-time high territory. And this is just the A wave of a larger B wave. We're going to do the B wave, which would still be a substantial decline, but not necessarily a break to new lows or new bear market lows at least. This would then be a potential entry point for anybody who's looking for a cheap entry. And then a C wave rally can unfold, maybe even to new all-time highs when we talk about an overshooting B wave. The thing is, the move down into the December lows can be counted as a 3-wave correction. So it could be a flat structure that's unfolding here. And then after that B wave top, we could go to new lows. So again, we need to keep the door open here, definitely towards higher prices. And I will always give a bullish option, and I will give you my best view at all times. But obviously I don't have a crystal ball, okay? Now, if we identify the structure here correctly, then we should be at the moment either still in a 3rd wave of the C wave, so 1, 2, 3, or already in this 4th wave, and then there should still be another 5th wave. Next targets to the upside, and they can be reached either in the current 3rd wave still, or in the 5th wave, are $71.20, $79.50, $93, and $113. Now if we go to the 4-hour chart, we're already on the 4-hour and zoom in. So Looking at the shorter time frame, really not much has changed since the last few updates, but let's explore the price action here. So again, it's possible this third wave is complete. The move down currently definitely looks corrective, so it's not impulsive. So I call that a correction. Is it part of still this larger third wave? That's the question. Or are we in a B wave already in wave 4? So if I zoom out a little bit again, just to explain to you, this fourth wave might be unfolding already, which would lead to a fifth wave afterwards. Okay, the fourth wave of the C wave, which would lead to a fifth wave afterwards. It should have a substantial size because the wave 2, which unfolded between July and September, also had a substantial, let's say, length. Okay, so typically they have a similar length. It's very important to understand. If the price moves up from here, where we are now, then it would not be, it wouldn't make sense to call that the wave 4 already and the wave 5 in the making. It would just be unreliable, very short, not healthy. So, we want to see a more stretched out wave for overall. And it could be, it could be either substantially in time, substantial in time, like several weeks in duration, or it could just be a very deep pullback to the lower support band here of this support box at around about $34. But at the moment, first of all, there's no signal, no clear evidence that the move down is over. Absolutely not. So we are still keeping the door open for lower. What I warned about, though, in this configuration here is that we might get a high B wave. So let's just assume the pullback is already unfolding. Then we already saw our A wave. We are now likely in the B wave, and then we come down in wave C. And this again could be another A wave and another B wave to form with another C wave down if we really get that more extended correction. So it could still go on for a little bit. It can always finish earlier, but at the moment it seems likely that we still go lower, in my opinion. That's what I would prefer. Markets are uncertain. It can always finish a bit early, but it's all about finding the ideal structure. To keep it simple, in simple words, as long as we're holding that $34.40 level, I would still focus on higher overall on this chart, okay? Expecting that fifth wave there to play out. And again, zooming into the short term, and I go to the 1 hour chart now and zoom in. We talked about here the option of potentially a 5-wave move to the upside, which might have formed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we might now be in a bit of a B wave pullback, okay? And then a C wave rally off B, okay? But this is not a certain pattern. I mean, patterns are always uncertain, but this is a B wave that we're tracking here. So B waves are extremely unpredictable. So you would normally not trade a B wave, and we might be actually in the B wave of the B wave. So forget about it. It's they can take so many different it's not so important to understand what pattern it exactly is. I received so many questions in the comments about, okay, what if this and that, and nobody knows. The technical analysis can only define the parameters, the space we need to give them, and the larger trend is still up. Okay, within the larger trend, we are likely in a pullback. We need to be aware of corrective rallies and even overshooting B waves, basically fake outs in these B waves within that current larger correction. I think that's the bottom line. Someone asked me, could it be, does it need a high B wave? No, there's no must, there's no need for a high B wave. And someone else asked me, could it be that it just moves sideways for a very long time? Yeah, it could just move sideways. That's what actually I suggested. It could become a so-called sideways correction because the wave 2 is a so-called sharp correction. It moved down in a very clear downtrend. It was certainly not sideways, whereas then oftentimes, according to the guideline of alternation and Elliott wave, waves 2 and 4 have often a different shape. So if the wave 2 is a sideways, is a sharp correction, which it often is, then the wave 4 is oftentimes a sideways correction. These can be incredibly boring, and they can also lead to a lot of fake outs, and they chop you up if you don't stay out of it. Okay, so very frustrating. They lead to fake outs and stuff like that. And we might be in one. Okay, So that can take a while. I will always give you my best view of where we are. At the moment, I think we might be in this B wave currently, a B wave pullback. I would go with that assumption. So that means that we are set up for one more high in wave C of B, and the resistance area of this B wave is between $64 and 76. Yeah. So we just need to be aware of that potential rally into resistance. It's Fibonacci resistance. And my view is that this is possible as long as we're likely, as long as we're holding above $53. So that would be support here. It's actually ranging between 53 and 56.50, but I make that orange. This would be the support zone. Let me just adjust that. This would be the support zone for the small B wave in wave B. Okay, so it seems like a corrective pullback is unfolding. We might retest that wedge pattern, that channel from above, before it actually goes in wave C of B. So that's actually, that's as much clarity as we can get out of this. I know a lot of people want a crystal ball, but that's just what Elliott wave is not. It's not a crystal ball. It's a great risk management method. It has predictive qualities, but as always, as I say, in corrections, you cannot predict the actual waves in corrections. We can track the structures, yeah, but just be aware that they have a lower reliability than, for example, in impulses. So yeah, that's my update about Solana. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership, and also make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter. You can find the links in the video description. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.